like a bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here, I got time.
Whenever I go to an interview, the first question the interviewer asks me, can you tell me the difference between let, var and const? So that is the most JavaScript interview based questions I faced whenever I go to an interview. So I'm going to answer for that. Before that, we will learn some of the very basic concept of JavaScript like data types and variables, right? Okay, let's move on. Okay, so like in all other programming languages, in JavaScript also we have data types called primitive and composite. So what is primitive data type? So string, number and boolean are the primitive data types, whereas object, array and functions which are going to be act as an object are most called as composite or as reference data types. Okay, and there is also some special data types like undefined and null, but obviously we are going to use the undefined and null and most of the time. Okay, so I will tell you in detail like what is string, what is number and what are boolean, but if you are familiar with any programming languages, then the same concept is going to apply here as well. Okay, so I'm going to flip to my VS Code and probably will see some codes now. Okay, now whenever you are going to install based on a system theme, the by default system by default VS Code is going to be in this like white color, so it might strain your eyes, so I recommend you to go with any dark theme. So I'm going to just change my color theme to the monarchy dimmed here. Okay, I can go with the black also, but for tutorial purpose I'm just using this monarchy dimmed here right now. Okay, and even if you see this icons doesn't looks very good to me, so I'm going to change the icon pack here, right? So if you go to settings and if you go to the file icon theme, here you can install additional icons. These are just to make your VS Code look more nicer. That's it. These are just fancy items you need not to do, but if you do, that's pretty much well enough, right? So I'm going to install on this and it will take few seconds, then it will, that's it. So it will asking you now whether you want to activate this. So I'm going to, yes, I'm going to select this VS Code icons so that it will become changed now. Okay, now let me close this, and if I go now, see the node modules and the npm packages looks more relevant to me, so that is the reason I have changed this, right? Now first thing first, we are going to create a package here. In terms of, if you're familiar with Java, each and every folder inside the SRC we call it as package, right? Now in terms of JavaScript, there is nothing called packages, it is just a folder, but if you want you can call this as a package as well, so nothing wrong about it. So I'm going to create a new folder here, and maybe I can name it as 01 basic because we are going to take a baby steps here. And within this basic folder, I'm going to create a new file which is going to be learn.js and .js. So .js is the extension here, right? So if you are familiar with Eclipse and Java, whenever you are creating a new class file, it is going to give you .java extension, right? So you have to create the class file, it will attach the .java extension. But in this VS Code or any maybe WebStorm it differs, but I use most of the time VS Code. In VS Code you have to create each and every extension, file extension, right? Okay, fine. Now I'm going to increase the font size a bit here, so let me check, let me write something. So console.log, and within double quotes I can say, hey, welcome. Okay, so this looks pretty much fine for me, but I'm going to increase the font size. So for that you have to use control comma, and this will bring you the settings here. So here you can search for font size, and here I can change the font size to maybe 26 and enter, then close this. Okay, so this looks very good to me. Okay, now this console.log means it is a kind of print statement. So we are going to do some print statement in our console. Okay, to open the console, in terms of VS Code we call it as terminal here. So use Ctrl J to open the terminal here, right? Now to run this, first we have to go within the 01 basic folder, right? So we will use the command called cd, which is like change directory. where 01 basic, just type partially and tab, it will give you the suggestion, so you can enter on this, right? Now to run this file, we can use the node. With the help of node, we can run the JavaScript files directly. But before the node, if you have seen any other tutorials, you might have seen like they will create a HTML file where they will create a script tag, and within the script tag they will call the JS file, and in the browser they will execute everything, right? That also we can do, but that is not necessary here because we have the power of Node.js, so we are going to make use of that. Okay, so how to run this file? You have to use node, then followed by the file name, which is learnjs.js. okay, so a file extension is also mandatory, so give the node and then followed by the file name. Now if I hit enter, I'm not going to get anything. The reason here is in VS Code, if you see, by default the file doesn't get saved automatically, so you have to save the files each and every time, right? So if you see here you can see probably a small dot, white color dot, right? That means the files are not saved here. So I'm going to Control S and I'm going to save this. Now the file icon you can see has been changed. Now let me press the up arrow to bring the same command, and I'm going to hit enter. Okay, cool. Now I got the answer, right? But you might to forget save each and every time, so I'm going to change that. So again use control dot here, sorry, control comma here, and this will bring you the settings. And in the very first you can see commonly used, where you have something called autosave, right? So click on this and click on after delay. So based on 1 second it is going to save each and every time your file. Okay, so we need not to worry about saving the file each and every time, right? Let me close this, come back here, that's it. Now if I are going to run again, obviously I will get the same hey welcome, right? Now if you see here in JavaScript, we can use this console log to print anything here in this console, and we can use single quotes, double quotes, or even triple quotes to print our statement, right? Quotes doesn't really matter here, so whatever the string you are going to give, it is going to print as it is. Now if you give some numbers 1 to 5, something like that, obviously it is going to print that as well. Okay, 1 to 4. Now let me show you some variable. Okay, so what is the use of variable? Means obviously it is going to get store some values in the memory, right? So that is the use of variables, right? Now I'm going to create a variable called name here. So let me comment this. So to comment you can use control slash. This double slash means you are going to comment. Now comment means this is not going to execute in the memory, that's it, right? So here I'm going to create a new variable which is going to be of name, and I'm going to make this as a string. So I'm going to use a single quotes here, and here I'm going to give my name as Koushik. Okay, now here I have to say like what is the scope of this variable. Either it can be let, var, or constant, right? So I'm going to teach you what is this. Let's see in detail, right? So I'm going to make this let as of now. Okay, now I'm going to print this. So console.log or log and control space, it is give you the suggestion, and here I can say name, right? Now if I want to run this, so CLS means it is going to clear the screen, and then I will say node, then probably the file name. Okay, so here you can see I got the name. Okay, now I want to do some string concatenation, like my name is then followed by the name, right? So what we can do is we can use the single quotes or double quotes here, then we can use the plus symbol to do the concatenation, right? So here I can say my name is, and then space. After that we are using this name here, right? So this is going to append to this value, right? So let us run this. Okay, fine, we got it. But in JavaScript there is always a multiple ways to do the same thing. Yes, trust me, there is always a multiple ways. For example, instead of double quotes I can use the single quotes, that's fine. But there is something called backticks, which is very famous in JavaScript nowadays, because backticks makes your life very simpler. Why I'm telling this, let me show you. So for here let me give you an example. Okay, so I'm going to again log here, and here I'm going to use this backticks here. Okay, so it is available to the left of your one key. Okay, so backticks, right? Now here I'm going to say my name is that name, right? Now how do we append this name? Obviously we have to use the plus symbol and you have to do the concatenation, right? But here I can use the name variable directly by using the help of dollar symbol here. Okay, so dollar and within the curly braces, now I can give the name here. So if you see the color has been changed, right? This means this is our variable. So if I right click and go to definition, it will take me not here, sorry. So if I see here, this is name here and this is my string here, and I'm doing the concatenation with the help of dollar symbol. Okay, so this is known as backticks. We are using the backticks here. This is also known as template retrievals. Okay, so template retrievals is the actual name for this stuff. Okay, now here I'm going to run this again. Okay, so we got the output as expected, right? My name is Koushik. That's fine. So most of the time you can use single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes, or even backticks. Okay, for example, let's say that I want to use like something like I want to print something like, hey, I am Koushik, like this. So I can use this double quotes and I can use the single quotes within the double quotes, right? So that will work fine. Similarly, I can use the single quotes and the double quotes vice versa. I can use anything. Okay, but if I want to use both the single quotes and the double quotes within the string, then probably I can go with the backticks, which will make the life simpler. And also obviously we can append any variable to the within the string literal itself, right? So that is the use of backticks here.